We've been watching One Piece recently, and it has been a blast for us fans knowing Luffy already tapped his Devil Fruit Awakening. Now, let me break down our 5 things to know about Luffy's Gear 5 Awakening. Firstly, let's talk about the Gear 5 color and appearance. The scene where the Gorosei talk about the true nature of Luffy's Devil Fruit as Hito Hito no Mi, model Nika, which is a mythical Zoan Devil Fruit which enables the user to get the powers of Sun God Nika, is in fact very crucial to the properties of Luffy's Gear 5. So, the question is, how is this crucial to Gear 5 explanation? Let's start first with the Sun God Nika. We can go to the basic premise as to the natural color of the sun, and guess what? In today's age, if we can just Google it up, we can immediately find its answer. Open quote, sun is essentially all color mixed together, which appear to our eyes as white, end quote. Remember in science that rainbows are light from the sun, separate into colors? Secondly, beside from the fact that Luffy's Devil Fruit's alternative name is Hito Hito no Mi, model Nika, the Gorosei did in fact emphasize that the human fruit Zoan mythical type model Nika had the exact properties of robber, the warrior of liberation, Nika, the son of God, and that awakening is said to give its users robbery body. Again, in terms of color, it is important to note that the color of the natural rubber being harvested from rubber tree is also noted to be color white. So, we believe that combining those two premises are the inspirations behind the color of Gear 5 image Luffy. Next is regarding transformation process. In One Piece anime episode 1073, we were able to clearly see how Luffy transformed himself back to Gear 5 mode in this particular stance. Look familiar? Yep. We've seen first that stance when Luffy first utilized Gear 2 mode. He makes his blood flow faster throughout his body, which also explains the smoke or the steam being emitted by his body at the same time that makes his pinkish and shiny appearance in the Gear 2 mode. In Gear 5, he used the same stance. However, there was emphasis in making his heart beat stronger, but in this case, we believe that due to his awakened Devil Fruit state, instead of making him more reddish or pinkish, it made his appearance whitish instead. On top of that, probably due to high temperature being emitted by this body, his body is more wobbly than before. Up next, let's now discuss about some of the Gear 5 capabilities that was shown to us by Sensei Oda for now. But to understand this more, let's revisit some of the characters with awakened Devil Fruits that also influences their environment, and very good examples of this are Doflamingo and Katakuri. We've seen in Doflamingo's awakened fruit, its capabilities included converting all of his environment into strings. At the same time, we've also seen how Luffy had a hard time fighting Katakuri because of the fact that in Katakuri's awakened state, he can also convert the environment, and on top of that, he can in fact convert himself into a mochi. Next, let's also don't forget the recent awakened Devil Fruit user used as Kid, wherein he was able to transfer the magnetism property to Big Mom, and therefore turning her into a human magnet, and directed all of them to Big Mom herself. Based from these facts, we can objectively say that some of the awakened Devil Fruit state can easily transfer their capabilities to other characters, not just to its environment. Now let's go back to the recent anime episode wherein Luffy is creatively using his environment to attack Kaido, maximizing the utility of his Gear 5 awakened state. As what we've already discussed before, Luffy can also transfer his robbery properties to other characters, as evidenced by Luffy's attack easily stretches Kaido himself. Firstly, the Gum Gum Fusion. Note that the Gum Gum Fusion, Kaido was overly inflated in his dragon form while Luffy was inside his body, and this was important script made by Kaido that he himself emphasized that. Lastly, when Luffy used his 2 still unnamed attacks, which is like the Gear 5 version of the Gatling gun, as well as like a pistol Gear 5 version, wherein it really stretched Kaido's head. Luffy's punches were really stretching the point of impact. Next in our 4th Gear 5 capability which is very relative to Gear 5's very rubbery property, is that he can ridiculously gigantify himself. We've seen the debut of Luffy's Gear 3 technique back in Enies Lobby arc, wherein he inflates so much part of his body, just like a giant. And he usually does this to his arm with the King Kong gun or part of his feet. We've seen the capability of Luffy's Devil Fruit many times, but we've never seen Luffy gigantify his whole body, and probably it is because of the limiter inherent with the Gear 3 technique. With the Devil Fruit's awakening, it really did amplify all of Luffy's capabilities, including this capability, and therefore amplifying the rubber properties of his whole body, and he can effortlessly gigantify himself. And last but not the least, Luffy's ability to hold lightning. This is one of the most ridiculous capability of Luffy's Devil Fruit awakening. Yep, we are all aware that rubber is inherently immune to lightning. We have seen this with the Skypiea arc wherein Luffy fought Eneru with the Devil Fruit Rumble Rumble Fruit, and thus making the user a lightning human. Note that Eneru, in spite of being a lightning human, Luffy can easily punch him and hold him. Luffy doesn't even know how to use Haki at this point in time. We've also seen Luffy just kicking a lightning, but we've never seen in the entire series that Luffy did in fact hold a lightning and making it a spear as a weapon. This is entirely new to us. We know that lightning is not solid or liquid or gas, but it is indeed a plasma. But Luffy was able to make it tangible. The interesting question is, can Luffy really make some intangible elements become tangible with this Devil Fruit? Well, I guess we'll have to wait and find out in the future, and wait for some more objective clues and evidences, and probably that is for another video. And that's it for our Gear 5 Awakening characteristics or things to know. Let me know in the comments section below what are your thoughts about Luffy's Gear 5 Awakening, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care!